Hello everyone, I know I said I was going to be more consistent starting the beginning of May and I'm a day late, but I realized that was April Fool's and I don't know, I had a feeling that maybe CA would do something and turns out they didn't. What a bunch of spoil sports. But now we have to turn our attention because while it is April, usually around the end of May and the beginning of June, it does depend, there is an event known as SKULLS. And that one is the big Warhammer video game event. So usually we see brand new game announcements, sometimes new announcements for DLC and the rest. So I'm starting to think about Total War, and is there anything that we're going to see there through Warhammer 3 or maybe 40k? And there are possibilities, but it does depend. So we're going to talk about that with maybe an open mind. Hopefully Creative Assembly are thinking about doing something, because they have skipped out on the past. And they're under no obligation to really do anything, but it's always cool to see an announcement there. So Warhammer 3 wise, we do know that there is a DLC coming, Bashiva and the Tigermen. We do know that more information is coming, they said, I think around mid-April in one of their streams. I think that was the Roger Column one. So it's possible that we could see something regarding that, but if that's the case, then maybe no FLC Legendary Hero, but we'll get to that in just a second. If they want to be kind of strong about it, they might go, yeah, here's the full trailer. Creative Assembly have mostly taken part in SKULLS for the past, 10 years or so, but it's usually been either a free unit, a Legendary Hero, or a half a trailer for something. But really, they can't really do a half a trailer for Bashiva, since Bashiva is a tiny pack. It's not out of the question that they could just be going like, yeah, this is when it's going to come out, and that's it. I don't expect a lot, really, like marketing wise, for Bashiva, mostly because it's one of these like small character packs, because it might just be like quick releases, whereas Creative Assembly normally take 2 weeks, but that's during like large DLCs. We're gonna have to wait and see how large the Bashiva DLC is. Well, we know basically the content of it because of the blog, but is there like a big patch attached to it or whatever? Maybe they're gonna wait for that, because I do feel like the marketing stuff links up with the last second fixes for the DLC launches. That being said, we could end up with something completely different if they decide to drop like a patch and go, hey, here is a free unit, which they've done in the past. This is what happened, I believe, with the Bone Giant and the original Blood Knights for the vampire counts, or jump in with a Legendary Hero. It worked really well the last time they did a Legendary Hero, because obviously Karanak was very, very popular. And there's still loads of factions, which, yeah, they're still missing Legendary Heroes. So I feel like it could be kind of useful during SKULLS just to get another one in. Again, Creative Assembly are very secretive about this stuff, and, well, we're still pretty far off from SKULLS, but I was thinking about it today, interesting enough, because I sat down to paint up some skulls from the the Warhammer SKULLS box thing, right? For your miniatures. Well, the box is called Citadel Skulls, but I imagine that that's going to change when they redo the branding and stuff. The paint is even called Warhammer now, which is weird. So it begs the question, if we're going to get like a Legendary Hero or a unit, what could it be? I still think it's something like, it could be something like this, right? Creative Assembly love the marketing from SKULLS. It's way too big to kind of avoid. The problem here is it's actually kind of hard to guess what they could do. The SKULLS event made sense to just like do Karanak because it's a Khorne character, but that also meant that Khorne had more Legendary Heroes than most. There are a lot of races in-game that still don't have a Legendary Hero. In regards to units, well, there's not really a lot missing, stuff that could really be attached to DLC, unless they decide to do something themed. I think this is the best event where nobody can really predict what Creative Assembly are going to do, if they do something, and this is what is one of their strengths. They can really surprise people with something kind of cool. Looking through the race list, I don't see anything that could be like a big unit coming out, especially since like we have another big DLC on the way, right? Because after Bashiva, and we still don't know when she's coming out, then the attention turns into the Lords of the End Times, which, we've got Nagash, and we know that there's going to be quite a lot there with the Mortarchs. We know that Chaos is going to be getting something, we just don't know exactly what. Since Archaon is getting something, so I'm assuming a new Legendary Lord for Nurgle makes sense. As well, that's the missing stuff. And then we can make like fair assumptions on what the rest is going to be. So maybe they'll do like a Legendary Hero focused around those factions just to kind of get the ball rolling. Hell, I mean, there's a Vampire Count rework. Maybe we'll finally get like a Vampire Count legendary hero. Maybe Conrad von Karstein would be kind of cool, because a lot of people do want Conrad, and it would make sense just to have like a pure blender hero. Yes, it's another von Karstein, but still, I mean, he's cool, right? Everyone likes Conrad. If you've read through the lore, you'll know why. There's still loads of factions missing legendary heroes. I mean, I'm just going through them right now. The Beastmen are missing someone, Dark Elves. If Creative Assembly really want to get a lot of good boy points, and this is just like a fair assumption, they could go for one of the factions that might not get another DLC. For example, Dark Elves don't really have that much missing. I don't even think for character packs, unless the character pack format does change, because obviously right now we just know it's like a generic lord, generic hero, legendary lord, and a few units. Dark Elves don't have enough units for that. Or maybe another legendary hero for the Lizardmen, maybe one for the Skaven that are currently missing. I am expecting Skaven during the end times because they play such a massive amount of a role there. But like, there's a lot of characters. There's a lot of characters for the Skaven. Or, and this is the very, very big hope, maybe Creative Assembly are going, okay, we screwed up with Shadows of Change. This is the perfect time. You know, we're doing the big DLC for the end times. We're doing something for Cafe. Let's finally bring out Ygrim. They did mention Ygrim a while back, so it's clear that it's still in their mind. There are apparently loads of Ygrim Van Horseman fans. I'm actually fairly surprised on how much the mention of Ygrim comes out. It's not out of the question to get a Legendary Lord for SKULLS, right? It's something that's happened before. We've had Legendary Lords coming out of nowhere. This is something that what happened with Rakarth, actually. Rakarth wasn't attached to SKULLS. He wasn't attached to anything. He was just like, here's a free Legendary Lord just for the sake of it. Which is nice. I imagine it's because like a lot of people did like Rakarth back there in CA. He was a popular character model and he had interesting like lore. I think a lot of people just resonated with him because he was a different type of Dark Elf. Sure, he's still a Dark Elf, but you know, he's a Beastmaster. He had an interesting campaign. It hasn't aged too well now, but it was pretty good back then. It's still decent now. I'd like to hold up hope here. Like, I haven't heard anything. It's just, you know, it's a character that's been missing for a while. People have been asking for him a long time, and Tzeentch is still lacking for a Legendary Lord, right? It's kind of silly, especially as, like, it's the elephant in the room that I think a lot of people notice, especially since, like, the Changeling isn't a character that people are going to be playing multiple times, and there's only so many times that you can play Kairos and then you get bored, right? So it could be possible if Creative Assembly want to go, like, yeah, you know, this is the brand new chapter. As for 40k, it's a big question as to what could actually happen here. They said that they were going to showcase stuff during summer. May isn't in summer for Creative Assembly's financial year, so it's likely that they're going to hold off there, but what they could show is just some basic footage of, you know, combat and stuff like that, just showcasing animations. I think that's what people want to see. They want to see some matched animations. That would start bringing in the hype for 40k a lot more. As much as I'd love to see like a massive gameplay shot, I still think that this game isn't going to release until next year, so they're going to take their time, and that's a good thing. We don't want another Warhammer 3 situation, and I think that the longer they take, the better it's just going to end up being. But they'll probably want to like showcase some basic stuff just to get the ball rolling and the hype kind of pushing up, because they announced it in December and then it's been awfully quiet. But this is like a Creative Assembly thing. It usually happens. My main focus is Warhammer 3 at the moment, and that's why I'm thinking like maybe a legendary hero. But realistically, I'd love to see something like Ygrim. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's start a discussion. There's going to be a lot more content coming out, and I've got some tabletop stuff on the works. So there's a lot of stuff. I'm just getting the routine back up to normal because it's been like 3 months of non-stop issues of getting sorted out here in the UK. So as you can imagine, stress. Lots of stress. But yeah, have a good one, guys. See you all again very soon.